All right, let's talk about pizza dough. Very first thing I like to start out with is the yeast because it takes time for it to activate and rise. Now let me bring this over here to you. Get a close-up look. As you can see, it is activated. It has risen, okay? Important part is warm water with that. And I usually go about a quarter cup of water, and then I throw in this yeast, which is made specifically by Fleshman's here, but for the pizza crust itself. Now they do have different varieties and whatnot. They have fast activating or something else rather, but I choose this specifically for pizza, and I figure since that's what it's made for, it's going to make me a better crust. And I've tried the others, and it does make a better crust. Now, according to the directions, you can just add it in here and just let it self-activate through your recipe, but I still like to make it rise. And all I do is a quarter cup of warm water. I do the whole package of that yeast, and I match the same amount with sugar so it can heat it up and rise and get real thick like it is now, okay? Simple. 3 cups of flour, okay? Right here. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar. Now I like to put that around the outside there so it doesn't mix with the yeast that I'm going to put in here in a minute. 1 cup of water. Now the center is where I like to start adding in the yeast. And we'll just drop it in there like that. As you can see, it's just a big blob of foam now. That's the goods. That's how you know you've got some good yeast. Alright? Now if you're not so big on the yeast flavor, you can cut this down. I've done it before for people. It's not a big deal. And it really doesn't affect the dough a whole lot. You can take half of this if you don't want as much yeast flavor as I'm going to put in there. And still the same amount of ingredients and make a fantastic dough, okay? Just so you know. Now I'm going to do this completely by hand and get in there and mix it all up until I got a good dough. I've got a little bit of flour here if I need to add to it, just a little bit here and there if it's too sticky, and I'll be adding a little bit of water if it's too floury. Either way, let's get into it. Okay, now that's about what you want. You can see I've got most of the product all in there, all one whole. I think it's a little too sticky for my taste. I'd like a little bit more manageable, a little bit easier to work with, so I'm going to add just a little bit more flour and work that in there. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. This is one of those recipes where you just know as you go, okay, as far as, you know, whether it's too dry or not wet enough, sticky enough, and right now it's just perfect, okay. I'll be able to work with this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move it to a bowl that's got olive oil in it so it won't stick and dry out as it rises, okay? And we'll just put it in there, and I'm going to cover it with some olive oil and let it rise. Okay, olive oil is just a teaspoon or so. It's just enough to cover it so it doesn't crack. You don't want it to expand and dry out and crack all over the place here on you, so this is what you want. There we go. You can see she's all lubed up, ready to go. Now I'm just going to do the old towel trick. Cover it up. Set it aside here and let it rise. It's going to take about an hour or so, and it'll double in size. When it doubles in size, you are ready to go. We'll come back here, visit it in an hour, and show you what it looks like. All right, let me show you this here. Okay, see how much bigger we've gotten? It's pretty much filled that whole bowl. Now give it a shake like that because I want to make sure it's loosened up off the sides here. That olive oil helps it. All you got to do, throw down your flour. Let that sucker just slide right on out. One-handed's kind of a pain in the butt, but oh heck, let's just go upside down on it. There you go. Now, this is where we conclude on the pizza dough. Okay, I've actually got different intentions. I'm going to make a calzone here with it. But right here, all you do is pan it out into the size you want. If you want, you can separate it. You can freeze it. I don't care what you do with it, but that's your pizza dough. That's it right there here at the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen.